Let me tell you something right now. With that brother and Maxey, if Embiid and Paul George could give you, I might have to rethink some things. And that Tyrese Maxey, when you talk about a backcourt, that's going to be spectacular to behold. Tyrese Maxey, if V.J., if that's who the hell we get right there, he ain't got to average 30 a night, of course. I'm just
The NBA and Eastern Conference has a massive problem, and most teams don't even realize it yet. Guys, truly, when was the last time we saw Philadelphia actually relevant in the NBA? It was a heartbreaking Game 7 loss where Kawhi Leonard's shot bounced 4 times before dropping their hopes and dreams. Before that, Allen Iverson talking about practice while carrying the franchise on his back.
It's easy to sum it up when you just talk about practice. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice.
For years, that's been the Philadelphia story. Heartbreak, controversy, injuries, blended with what-ifs and almosts. But while everyone's been asking the same questions, who is going to stop OKC's repeat? Is Milwaukee still a contender? Can Philadelphia stay healthy? Something scary has been brewing in Philly, and nobody saw it coming. October 23rd, 2024. Tyrese Maxey and V.J. Edgecombe combined for 74 points against the Boston Celtics, showcasing Philly's new backcourt. But here's what makes this terrifying for the rest of the league. This wasn't their ceiling. This was their introduction. Teams like the Knicks, Nets, Wizards, and Magic are about to find out they don't have guards who can match this speed, this shooting, this two-way impact. The Celtics already learned that lesson the hard way. So here's the solution every Eastern Conference team needs to find. How do you stop a backcourt that just skipped the development phase and went straight to elite? Because Philadelphia just found their answer to everything. And the rest of the East, and potentially the NBA, is about to have a very long season. Here's what you need to understand about that October night. This wasn't just a good game. This wasn't beginner's luck. This was the moment the Eastern Conference power structure got flipped upside down. Think about it like this. Imagine you're playing chess, and you think you know all the pieces on the board. You've studied your opponent's moves. You have a strategy. Then suddenly, they introduce 2 new pieces that can move in ways you've never seen before. That's what happened to every Eastern Conference team on October 23rd. The stakes? If you can't figure out how to defend this backcourt, your season is over before it starts. The Celtics found that out when Jaylen Brown barely touched the ball in the final 2 possessions of a 1-point game. Why? Because Maxey and Edgecombe had them scrambling, switching, second-guessing every decision. When your backcourt forces the former defending champions into panic mode, you're not just good, you're a problem. So what makes this backcourt so dangerous? Let me break it down for you. Why they're different. Most young guards take years to understand NBA spacing. They struggle with the speed. They make rookie mistakes. Maxey and Edgecombe skipped all of that. Tyrese Maxey enters this season carrying weight that would crush most 23-year-olds. James Harden is gone. Paul George hasn't played any meaningful basketball. The ball is his now. The offense runs through him. The expectations, sky high. But expectations and reality are 2 different beasts. In his first few games of the season, Maxey has become the first player under 24 in NBA history to average 28 points and 7 assists while shooting 40% from 3. Read that again. Under 24, 28 and 7, 40% from deep. That's not just good. That's not just all-star level. That's superstar territory. What they bring. This isn't just about scoring. It's about chemistry that shouldn't exist yet. Watch how they move together. Maxey brings the ball up, Edgecombe cuts to the corner. Edgecombe drives, Maxey spaces to the wing. It's instinctive. It's natural. It's terrifying if you're trying to defend it. And then there's V.J. Edgecombe. 20 years old, lottery pick, supposed to learn behind veterans, supposed to develop slowly, supposed to be a project. It was a controversial pick over Ace Bailey and Con Canupel, yet here he is, proving that he is him. He walks into his NBA debut and drops 34 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists on the Celtics. 34 points. In his first NBA game, the most by a Philadelphia rookie since Wilt Chamberlain in 1959. Let that sink in. Wilt Chamberlain, how they do it. Here's the secret sauce. Maxey isn't just fast. He's covering more ground per game than any player in the NBA. More ground than anyone. He's literally running opponents into the ground. His two-man game with Joel Embiid has become poetry in motion. Dribble handoffs that turn into drives. Step-back threes that come out of nowhere. He's shooting 40% from deep off handoffs, second in the league behind only Chef Curry. The legend Steph Curry. Meanwhile, Edgecombe moves like he's been in the league for years, not games. He shot 5 for 13 from 3 in his debut like he'd been doing it his whole life. I'll be honest with you. When I first saw Edgecombe's college highlights, I thought he was just another athletic guard who'd need time to develop. Raw talent? Sure. But NBA ready? I had my doubts. Then I watched that debut game. There's this moment in the third quarter where he catches the ball on the wing, sees Derek White closing out, and without hesitation, steps into a three-pointer like he's been doing it his whole life. Swish. No hesitation. No rookie nerves. Just pure confidence. That's when it hit me. This isn't about development anymore. This isn't about potential. These two players just announced that the future is now, and they're not waiting for permission. Here's what makes this truly unprecedented. Let's put this in perspective. You want to know how special this Maxey-Edgecombe combination really is? Let me show you the company they're keeping. Look at the backcourts that have actually reached conference finals in recent years. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving in Dallas. They made the Western Conference Finals in 2024. What made them dangerous? Luka's playmaking and size combined with Kyrie's elite scoring and clutch ability. They averaged over 50 combined points in playoff series. Sound familiar? Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum in Portland. Multiple Western Conference Finals appearances. This guard pairing brought scoring punch and the ability to exploit defensive mismatches. John Wall and Bradley Beal in Washington. Remember their 2017 Eastern Conference Finals run? Wall brought the speed and playmaking, Beal brought the scoring. That combination of pace, drives to the basket, and shooting ability. Traits we're seeing echoed in Maxey and Edgecombe's style right now. But here's what makes Philadelphia's duo different from all of these. Every one of those backcourts had the same formula, a primary scorer paired with a complementary two-way player. One guy who could create his own shot, one guy who could defend and facilitate. Maxey and Edgecombe break that mold. They can both score, they can both create, they can both defend. And here's the kicker, they're both 23 and under. That's not just rare. In the modern NBA, that's unprecedented. And speaking of Philadelphia basketball history, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. Allen Iverson, the answer. The last time Philadelphia had a guard who could single-handedly change the trajectory of a franchise. Iverson's rookie debut, 30 points. Impressive indeed. But V.J. Edgecombe just dropped 34 in his first game, the most by a Sixers rookie since Wilt Chamberlain in 1959. That means Edgecombe's debut was more explosive than Iverson's. But here's what's even crazier. Iverson carried Philadelphia mostly by himself. He was a one-man show who willed that 2001 team to the finals through pure determination and scoring ability. Maxey and Edgecombe don't have to do it alone. They have each other. They have Joel Embiid. They have a supporting cast and hopefully Paul George. Imagine what Iverson could have accomplished with a backcourt partner who could match his intensity and skill level. That's what Philadelphia has now. Not one transcendent guard, but two. Not a solo act, but a dynamic duo that can feed off each other's energy and cover each other's weaknesses. The NBA has always been a guard-driven league, but it's been dominated by established stars. Curry and Thompson in Golden State, Luka and Kyrie, proven commodities, players who earned their stripes over years of playoff battles and clutch moments. Maxey and Edgecombe just skipped the line. They didn't wait for their turn. They didn't develop slowly. They didn't ease into their roles. They kicked down the door and announced that the future is now. And that's what makes this so compelling, so dangerous, so absolutely electric to watch. This isn't just about Philadelphia having a good backcourt. This is about the league's power structure shifting in real time. Think of NBA development like climbing a mountain. Most players start at base camp. They learn the basics. They make mistakes. They slowly work their way up, level by level, year by year. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes experience. Maxey and Edgecombe just took a helicopter to the summit. They skipped the learning curve. They bypassed the growing pains. They went from players with potential to players who can carry a franchise in one night. And that's what makes this so dangerous for everyone else. Because while other teams are still waiting for their young players to develop, Philadelphia's young players are already there. But wait, there's something else you need to know. Remember Joel Embiid, the franchise centerpiece, the MVP candidate, the guy this whole thing is supposed to revolve around? He scored 4 points that night. 4, on 1 for 9 shooting. And Philadelphia won anyway. Think about what that means. For years, the narrative has been that Embiid needs help. He needs a co-star. He needs someone who can carry the load when he struggles. Well, now he has 2 someones. And they're not just helping, they're leading. On a night when Embiid shot 1 for 9, when he looked every bit of his injury-riddled, aging self, his backcourt carried him to a win over the defending champions. That's not just depth. That's not just good supporting cast play. That's a changing of the guard, literally and figuratively. The torch isn't being passed, it's being taken. But here's what makes this truly dangerous for the rest of the league. The Eastern Conference is wide open. Boston lost key pieces. Milwaukee is thin. Miami has lost its only superstar in Jimmy Butler. New York made moves, but questions remain in the clutch and three-point shooting. Cleveland is great, but will they be healthy when the postseason arrives? Indy is without its leader this season. And into this chaos walks Philadelphia with a backcourt that just announced itself in the loudest way possible. Teams like the Knicks, Indiana, the Nets, the Wizards, the Magic, they don't have guards who can match this speed, this shooting, this two-way impact. They don't have answers for players who can score 30 on any given night while setting up teammates and defending multiple positions. But let's be honest about what we're really watching here. This is bigger than basketball. This is about potential realized in real time. This is about 2 young men who refused to wait their turn, who refused to accept limitations, who looked at the biggest stage in basketball and said, "We belong here." V.J. Edgecombe was in high school 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he was worried about prom and college applications. Now he's out playing NBA, veterans on national television. Tyrese Maxey was a role player 18 months ago. A nice piece. A good young player with potential. Now he's averaging numbers that put him in MVP conversations. That's not just development, that's transformation. That's evolution happening at light speed. So what happens next? Visual cue, crystal ball effect, future implications. The league will adjust. Defenses will scheme. Coaches will game plan. Teams will try to slow them down, rough them up, make them prove it over 82 games instead of one magical night. But here's the thing about problems. Real problems. The kind that keep coaches up at night and general managers scrambling to make trades. They don't go away just because you acknowledge them. Maxey and Edgecombe aren't going anywhere. They're not going to suddenly forget how to play. They're not going to lose their speed, their shooting, their instincts, their chemistry. If anything, they're going to get better. They're going to get stronger. They're going to get smarter. They're going to add Paul George to this mix when he gets healthy. They're going to have Joel Embiid as their third option instead of their first. Think about that for a second. Joel Embiid as your third option. This is what greatness looks like when it arrives ahead of schedule. This is what happens when talent meets opportunity meets the biggest stage in basketball. This is what happens when 2 players decide that waiting is for other people. The NBA has a Maxey and Edgecombe problem. And honestly, they should be terrified, because this isn't a fluke. This isn't beginner's luck. This isn't a hot shooting night that won't repeat. This is the future of basketball, and it just announced itself with 74 points against the defending champions. The question isn't whether Maxey and Edgecombe can sustain this level of play. The question is whether the rest of the league can figure out how to stop them before they figure out how to get even better. So here's what we learned tonight. Sometimes greatness doesn't wait for permission. Remember when I asked you about that Eastern Conference problem? Well, now you know. It's not about age or experience or paying your dues. It's about 2 players who looked at the biggest stage in basketball and said, "We belong here." That's not just basketball. That's life. That's what happens when talent meets opportunity and refuses to wait. If this story gave you chills, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. Are we watching the birth of something special? Because sometimes the future arrives ahead of schedule, and October 23rd might just be the night everything changed for the Philadelphia 76ers. Thanks for dropping into Hoops Court Vision. Do subscribe so we can continue to build this community together.